apps.
Oh,
Everything that's on my phone, I've tried. It's just like I forget that it's there. And
how
there's so much
ironic.
else. There's so much else on your phone. Like the whole internet's on there. It's so
Yes.
distracting. So literally in my apartment, I bought it's like whiteboard paper. It comes in a roll, and you can like um put it up on your wall or whatever.
That's a thing.
And then I just have it all over the apartment, and then I just write down things on there so that I can physically see them whenever I'm walking around the house. Otherwise, like I'll forget that I have to do it, or that, I should do it. So I have one right behind me, and I have like, like matches I want to watch, and like inspiring quotes and things like that. Things to buy to put on my list. So that definitely helps me a lot more than an app.
So instead of art, you just have a bunch of reminders and uh, meh, great quotes.
Yeah, I have some art, but yeah, mostly it's just writing.
Well, I mean, what matches do you try to watch that have inspired you? Because I mean, it, obviously there are the history of everything you ever want to watch, like you said, is on your phone at all times.
Mm.
So you could literally go watch matches from mud shows and outlaw wrestling in the 30s and 40s and 50s, and then you could obviously watch everything that's happening now. Is there a era that you kind of maybe go through phases, or do you just kind of pick out random stuff throughout history, really?
Oh, there's so much. Yes. I have the WWE network. Don't ask me
Mhm.
how, as a Canadian. Uh, so yeah, I watch everything that's on there. Right now, I'm watching it in chronological order.
Whoa.
ECW, like WWE
Oh,
ECW from like 2007, 2008. I'm just watching like every episode. It's like so much fun. Um, just to just to go back and watch it, and then it's really funny because they have like their ECW crew, and randomly they'll have like cameos from like the Raw roster or SmackDown. And it's like Edge pops in for like a week on ECW, and you're like, Edge, what are you
right.
doing here? And then he leaves. Um, and that's a really fun watch. Otherwise, yeah, I find that, tape study is so important. But I would put a lot of pressure on myself to watch things that I know are really good, but that just don't keep my attention.
Ah,
Because, like from the 80s, and you know, and they are good, and I have watched them, like old Ric Flair matches, Dusty, things like that. Um, but whenever I'm like distracted or just like really wanting to watch a match, I just go to like characters that I love, or like story arcs that I love, or things like that. Because that keeps me engaged with the match itself, right? To know what the whole story is behind it. Uh, so usually that means just watching like mid 2000s ROH.
oh, nice.
Yeah, and just seeing what Brian Danielson's up to, what kind of things he has to overcome, or who he's being a prick to, things like that.
It has been a very consistent storyline that he's been a prick to almost everybody that he's been around in the business.
Yeah, still lovable though
Oh,
somehow,
of
right?
course. Yeah.
Interesting.
He's a lovable underdog prick. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Somebody make that t-shirt, please.
Definitely.
Well, so since you said that, I've had a question. I haven't asked anybody yet, but I've had this for a while. If you were to have a three-match trilogy with anybody from the 20th century, um, who would it be? And would there be any stipulations to any of the matches?
Ooh, definitely it would have to be Charlotte.
Can't no 20th century. So she fortunately had not. This is the 21st century.
Edit that part out. The 20th century ended in 1999.
Correct.
Okay. Um,
That's why it's harder because there's so many great wrestlers in the past 24 years.
that's true. There are.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to choose Melina.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was she not? I might have to.
She might have been, was she? 20th century?
Uh,
I lied. I can't choose that one.
we're about to find out. I feel like I should know this off the top of my head, but I don't.
Okay. I'll think of a different one in case she doesn't make the cutoff.
Yeah, think of another one while I'm in debut 2001. I'm sorry.
Fair enough. Alundra Blaze.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
She would beat the shit. Yeah, she is a. I've always heard she's a very tough woman.
Yes. Yeah. Um, yeah, she's just like remarkable.
Yeah.
She stood out so much, and everything that I saw her do. Um, yeah, that's the kind of fire that I want to have. And I think three match trilogy will be pretty dope. Um, yeah, like you said, like she's really intense. Like I don't think we would even need like a stipulation. I think the matches would just, get more and more intense, and it would be a huge bow off on the third match. We might perish.
Ooh, I like that. There we go. So you've worked in America, and then obviously you mainly work in Canada. When you do come down here, is there still the issue of, crossing the border, visas? What is that process like? Because I've heard from other people that it's not as bad, but also some of the talent does not get paid. It's a weird, but what I don't know what your situation has been like.
Yeah, I haven't worked in the States much. It seems like a very confusing situation. Um, and yeah, I think there's like specific instances where you're good to go clear through.
Mm,
And it's just about letting the folks know when you're crossing what you're up to.
right.
Um, but overall it just seems like um it seems quite sad because you're so close and so far away to the things that you want. Because it is difficult to work down there. I don't think that the situation has improved much from people that I've talked to.
Right.
Um, but anything can change in an instant, right?
True.
Yeah.
And you would think it's been decades since it's been an issue. Why has this not been like, I'm just confused why it hasn't been fixed. We all love pro wrestling. It doesn't matter what country we're in. If you want to have them pay different taxes, that's one thing, but don't make it hard for them to get across the border. Like, is it hard for, let's say, John Mayer to go play in Canada? Probably not. But why would it be an issue for someone like yourself to come down to America to perform as well?
I guess because I'm not in John Mayer status yet.
I guess.
Yeah, I have to get there. Um, yeah, I think there's a visa for like extraordinary individuals. I think there's something, that's what it's called. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds good. I'll apply for that.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah, that's me. Let's go.
It's like
Uh,
pre-check on a getting on a plane.
yeah, if you yeah, like I can't speak to this very well, but I know it's a very complicated and interesting history.
Mhm.
Um, I think I took a car ride, hour and a half car ride once, and I asked the guy I was riding with about it, and he told me all about it for the entire hour and a half. And I retained maybe like 30% of the information, but
Right.
yeah, it's fascinating and complicated. Yeah,
Huh. Well, hopefully one day it does get fixed.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. So you are still so young in your career. What does your bucket list look like? Is there certain venues you want to be in? Obviously, working more in America once they hopefully figure that process out. Uh, you know, most wrestling fans, if they were like, "Oh, if I was a wrestler," they think Japan, Mexico, even England. I mean, what does your bucket list even look like? Or people that
Hmm.
you do want to wrestle also, because that's a probably a huge bucket list things you can start checking off.
It's huge. It's like twofold. It's like I wrestle now most weekends.
Hmm.
I'm booked to have a show, and everything that I want, I get. You know, during the weekends, like the act of wrestling in itself is self-satisfying. I
Mm.
get to do it every weekend, and that's like my only motivation, right?
Hmm.
Wrestling is that thing that wrestlers just have this thing inside, right? They gotta wrestle. Um, but that is like that motivation that's like separate from the motivation to advance your career and do more, right?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, definitely. I want to get as far as I can. I want to wrestle the best. That means I got to be the best, right? So I got to put in the work and where I'm at now, right? Move up the cards, get noticed and get as far as you can. I'd love to go to Japan, especially because I think I'd be a lot bigger than the girls there, so I think I could get them. But they do kick you really hard in the face, so I
I
don't
have
know.
heard that.
Might even out. Yeah, I wanna do it all, you know? But looking back on this year, it's just amazing the things that I have been able to do, and I'm so grateful for it, right?
Right.
Um, but yeah, I want to wrestle the best. I want to but you got to be on that level. So I'm getting there. Um, and I just want to be able to tell like a good story. Like I love me like a one-off match,
Right.
but like I said, when I go back and I study tape, I like to pick those matches from within like a feud or from within a storyline, right?
Hmm.
Because knowing everything that happened up to that point and all that just makes the match like so much more interesting and exciting for me. And like you can see so much more in between the moves, you know? And I
Right.
want that for myself. Like I want to be able to tell a story. Um, they say you have like that wrestling soulmate. Maybe I'll meet them one day. We can go tear it up all over the place. Who knows?
There you go. What what is the the Toronto scene like right now when it comes to promotions, and who are some people that we can kind of look forward to seeing hopefully more on a bigger scale, or hopefully they can make it down here, or any place in America or across the pond.
Yeah, the scene is really hot for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of the women here have gotten fantastic opportunities to do like AEW work um, and work with some really great stars. Like you never know. Like the relationships are really strong with the promotions here and other organizations. Like just recently, a few weeks ago, um, we had a match with. Sorry, just one second. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, we had a match with Bia Moss, just locally here with Jordan Grace.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she just came on down to do a local show here. And they had a fantastic match, a great encounter. And then we have folks like, like Alex Shelley right now is kind of like touring Ontario, you could say, like having matches with some of the guys here who are really established. Um, And so people just come in and out of Ontario because they know that there's some, great people to work with.
Right.
And our guys get to go and have opportunities where they can. And that's just a really exciting time.
That's true. Yeah, if you're getting huge stars like Jordan Grace and Alex
Hmm.
Shelley coming through, there's a lot to learn from them, and pick their brains as much as you can.
Yeah, definitely.
So, if people have never seen you wrestle before, what three matches? I mean, these are the three highlights from this year that people should go out of their way to watch.
For myself,
Yeah.
um, I really like the work that I'm doing with 365 Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
So I work with them here in Ontario, but they have a promotion out west and in Ontario here. So I've been able to really get to work with a lot of the roster um, and fight for like their championship here to really make it like mean something. So I think looking at the work that I've done there, there's been some like really great moments. The champion right now is kind of dastardly. He's like unbeatable because he has a whole squad of helpers helping him out. I've been hit in the face with like a hot dog tray,
Whoa.
um, hit with a purse from a guy who was dressed up as an old lady. Pretty, yeah. Um, Pretty much been really close to getting that belt, but it's always been a little